Hello and welcome to my channel. So for today's video I will be doing this very bright orangey red lip. So let's start with the tutorial. I'm using this e.l.f eyeshadow base. It's very nice eyeshadow base and very affordable, but as compared to Urban Decay's primer portion it sets very quickly. I'm taking the Anastasia soft glam palette and using the shade Cypress Amber on the Morphe's M506. I'm creating a smoky wing liner. This brush is great for such technique. It's the Morphe's M506 as I said. Take a very little amount on the brush and start blending it outwards. As you can see, first apply whatever is on the brush on along your upper lash line, and then when there is nothing left on the brush, start blending it outwards. You can always build up the color, but don't take too much or else it will look very patchy and muddy. Now I'm taking this orangey shade and blending the edges of the brown shade. You can create this similar blend with any color tone you like the blue or the greens, but all you need is the darkest to the lightest shade of the same color category. I'm using the brown tones. As you can see, you can create this similar look with the blues as well or the greens as well. Now I'm taking a black shadow on a very small shader brush. All the brushes are either from M.A.C or Morphe. Apply very little product at a time and start blending it. Now I'm using a kajal. I always use a black eyeshadow or a kajal to cover my lash line, so that when I apply the false lashes it can blend easily with my natural lashes. Even if you don't want liner, applying this along your lash line makes such a difference. Now I'm using the Cypress Amber, the dark brown shade, to soften up the darkness of the kajal. Here I'm using the glitter eyeshadow from Urban Decay. It's in the shade Lithium. It has a very nice brown base to it, so it looks very flattering on the people with brown skin or with pigmented eyelids. I have pigmented eyelids and this shade looks very nice on the lid. I'm directly applying this with the help of the finger. I think with the finger it applies even more nicely and looks very nice and wet on the skin. It does not require any glitter adhesive to stick on. It can stick on its own and stays put throughout the day. Here I'm taking the white matte shadow and applying it on the inner corners because I've applied glitter on the lids, so I wanted to keep the inner corners matte. So I applied the white matte eyeshadow, but it started turning very muddy. So what I did was I took a very light brown shade and applied it on top of that white matte shadow and balanced it out. Now moving on to face, I'm using the Smashbox Halo Primer. It's a nice primer, very hydrating and a very luminous primer. But if you want a drugstore dupe for it, I have used the Sugar's primer. It's in the shade Peach Popping, I guess, but it looks exactly like the Smashbox Halo. You can get that. Here I'm using the Light Illusion foundation from Flower Beauty. It's a very nice luminous hydrating foundation, great for dry skin types. I'm not sure how it will wear on oily skin because on my dry skin it looks very nice and it stays hydrated all day long. And I'm in the shade Soft Sand. But there is a thing, it does oxidize 1 or 2 shades darker, so you have to keep that in mind whenever you are doing a shade match online. Here I'm using the corrector from e.l.f. Cosmetics in the shade Peach. The formulation of this corrector is very similar to their Camo hydrating concealer. It's very pigmented and very hydrating on the skin. Now for concealer, I will be using this one from Smashbox. It's, I guess, in the shade Warm Olive. I will leave the shades in the description box. It's a dry skin friendly concealer. Doesn't look dry or cakey in your under eyes. It's very nice and very pigmented as well, so you have to use the tiniest amount possible. Now I'm using the light olive shade from the same Smashbox concealer to highlight the center of my face. And again I'm using the tiniest amount because this product has very nice coverage and it's very pigmented. So you can always start with the small amount and build it up. Here I am using the setting powder from Huda Beauty. It's in the shade Cherry Blossom. I guess this is available on Tira Beauty, and you need the tiniest amount of this powder if you have dry skin. Don't go overboard because it might look very dry and wrinkly if you apply too much, because this powder can suck up all the moisture of your skin. So keep that in mind and apply the tiniest amount. For cream bronzer, I'm using this e.l.f. Putty bronzer. It's in the shade Day Trip. It's a luminous bronzer and it looks very nice and healthy on the skin. Not shimmery or glittery, anything like that. Just luminous and healthy, and it's a neutral tone bronzer. So you can use this as a contour shade as well. And you don't need a powder product to set it because it has a cream to powder finish. And this brush is from e.l.f. Cosmetics as well. I bought this from Amazon long back. For blush, I'm using the MAC Cosmetics blush in the shade Blush Please. It is a putty blush and it has a cream to powder finish, but still the brush can pick up so much of product. It's a very nice pigmented blush. Now for highlighter, I'm using this one from Becca. It's the Champagne Pop. Now I'm using the blush brush and blending the highlighter with the blush. For mascara, I'm using this one from Huda Beauty, and I always use the lengthening side. I don't like the volumizing side. It makes my lashes look very clumpy. Now I'm again taking all the matte shades which I've used in my crease and applying it on my lower lash line to complete the eye look. If you want, you can just apply the brown kajal in your lower waterline and it will look just fine. Now taking the Champagne Pop again and highlighting the inner corner. This lip liner is from Nykaa Cosmetics. It's a very nice orangey red lip liner, and as you can see, it's gliding on like super smooth. It's very creamy. Here's my favorite part, lipstick from Pat McGrath. It's in the shade Obsessed. It has a very nice orangey corally tone to it, and it looks very flattering on people with warm tones. Pigmentation is one swipe opaque, and it is a very non-drying, comfortable formula. Of course, Pat McGrath is known for her quality products, and she did not disappoint. And here's the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this tutorial, and I will see you in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye.